Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi flies in the Tejas 4.5 generation fighter jet, calls it a flight to remember and says Tejas is India's pride. Scenes of emotional reunion bring tears to the eyes as the freed Israeli hostages and prisoners hug their families. Israel says 58 trucks carrying food, water, shelter equipment and medical supplies have been deployed to the northern Gaza. Despite new hurdles, authorities are working on all possible options to reach the workers trapped in a Himalayan tunnel in Uttarakhand. And Indian badminton doubles stars Satwik-Chirag Reddy and Chirag Shetty have entered the final of the China Masters 2023. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi flew in the Tejas fighter aircraft. An order worth 36,468 crore rupees, or about 4.58 billion US dollars, has been placed with the HAL. That's the company that makes the Tejas. This is for 83 Tejas MK1, that's Mark 1A aircraft. The delivery is scheduled to begin by February 2024. Prime Minister Modi said that the experience left him with a sense of renewed pride. DD India's Mihir Makuri reports.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a sortie in India's indigenously developed Tejas fighter aircraft. The aircraft is the pride of India's self-reliance in the defense sector. The Tejas is a multi-role, all-weather, lightweight 4.5 generation fighter aircraft. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has orders for 40 LCA Mk1, of which 7 are trainers. 33 single-seat fighters have been delivered, and the first of the twin-seat trainer variants was handed over to the Indian Air Force in October this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi posted on X, successfully completed a sortie on the Tejas. The experience was incredibly enriching, significantly bolstering my confidence in our country's indigenous capabilities and leaving me with a renewed sense of pride and optimism about our national potential. The Indian Air Force plans to acquire 97 more Tejas aircraft to have a strength of 220 aircraft in its inventory. The Modi-led government has taken major initiatives to promote self-reliance in the defense sector. DAP 2020 now maximizes acquisition through indigenous sources, promoting domestic manufacturing. These operate through by indigenously designed, developed and manufactured category as well as by Indian category. Increased government funding for startups under Technology Development Fund and innovations for defense excellence projects. DRDO test facilities have been opened to industries for utilization. Defense industrial corridors have been set up in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. DRDO is skilling youth through internships and apprenticeships. Export procedures have been simplified. As of 31st May 2023, India's defense exports had reached nearly 16,000 crore rupees from a mere 686 crore rupees in 2014. India's indigenous capabilities cover missiles, including surface-to-air missiles, radars, tanks, anti-tank guided missiles, nuclear submarines, aircraft carriers, helicopters, and the like. The fifth positive indigenization list was released in October 2023. The list includes futuristic inventory requirements of the 3 wings of the armed forces. India is well positioned to play its role as a major defense partner, a net security provider, and force to reckon with in a regional and global context. Mihir Makuri reporting for DD India.
Scenes of emotional reunion bring tears to the eyes as freed Israeli hostages and prisoners hug their families. Israel says that 58 trucks carrying food, water, shelter, equipment and medical supplies have been deployed to the northern Gaza. Here's a report.
Relief writ large on the faces of the Israeli hostages, all women and children who tasted freedom after being held captive by the Hamas for 49 days. The second of at least 4 batches over 4 days of the truce were flown home under military guard, with measures put in place to reduce their suffering and distress, with medical help also at hand if required. Amid the pause in Israel's retaliation in Gaza, smiles emerged as hostages and prisoners are released. Kids overjoyed that grandma's coming home, released with their mother and little sister after almost 50 days in captivity in Gaza. 4-year-old Raz Asher sits in her father's arms on a hospital bed in Israel.
Did you dream that you were going home? Now the dream came true. We are home. That's it. Soon we'll be going to our home. Soon we will go back to our home. We just came here so the doctors could check us, and that's it. We are going home. They have got so many dolls around here for you. Lots of toys, lamps, and all sorts of things. So many things they have placed here for you. All these people have brought you presents. Everything's here. Are you happy?
Emotional reunions captured on camera as freed Israeli hostages hug families. Meanwhile, 50 trucks carrying food, water, shelter equipment and medical supplies deployed to the northern Gaza Strip and to shelters in non-evacuated areas of the Palestinian enclave, Israel said on Saturday. A first pause since October 7th in the 7-week continuing conflict has come as a relief, though both sides state that the truce is just temporary. Shagnik Chakraborty reporting for DD India.
And for an update on the situation in Israel, we have with us DD India correspondent Mia Alberti, who is joining us from Beirut in Lebanon. Well, Mia, to what extent has the release of the hostages appeared to calm the tense atmosphere in Israel and Palestine?
Look, it's given families in Gaza a chance to try to go back, see if their homes are still intact, to check if their family members are alive. Remember that there is still very little internet connection there in Gaza, so people are trying to go to their homes to see what is left behind. Basically, they are burying their dead. The hospitals are trying to receive this aid that is now coming in to rebuild basically their emergency rooms, their operation rooms. They're trying to take care of the injured that they had to leave behind during the past few days. So, and even for people to do something as basic as having a meal together, see their family members, go out to the coast and look at the sea and just have a moment of quiet and sleep for a few hours. So in Gaza, this is what we are seeing. We are seeing a slowly but cautious return to, if it's possible to say, a sense of normality, to try and use this pause in fighting as long as it will last. People have the conscience that it will not last for that long. And in Israel, people are using this moment to try and hope that the hostages that will be released by Hamas are their relative, their family members, their sons, their daughters, their moms, their fathers. And so for now, for the citizens of both Gaza and Israel, this is a moment to try to reconnect with their families and rebuild a little bit of their lives that have been destroyed since October 7th.
That's well put, Mia. But how well has the ceasefire held in Lebanon? I mean, it doesn't formally extend to Lebanon, doesn't it? This pause. So, what are the expectations for it to hold even further?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the war here in Lebanon, if we can call it that, it's not official, so the truce is also not official. But as we have been seeing since the beginning of the fighting, and Hezbollah has said that it would respond to Israel's attacks in Gaza as long as they continue. So as we are seeing this pause in the fighting in Gaza, we are seeing Hezbollah also pausing their activities here. Although we are seeing some incidents happening there at the southern border, at the blue line. Today, the United Nations peacekeeping forces there at the border say that they were attacked by Israeli defense forces who shot at one of their vehicles. And although there were no injured, the United Nations condemned this attack on peacekeeping forces that have been doing a tremendously difficult and important job trying to keep the peace there and to to calm things down between Hezbollah and the Israeli defense forces. We are also seeing Lebanese authorities saying that there has been an intense flyover of Israeli drones over southern Lebanon. So, we are not seeing the type of fighting that we have seen in the last few weeks. We are not seeing any missiles or artillery shelling happening, but we are seeing this type of incidents which could escalate to something bigger. This is the concern for the United Nations, as the head of the mission said on Friday. But we are seeing this cautious calm as some people in the south are going to their houses, not to stay there. Most are not returning to their homes, but just to pick up, winter clothes or other essential items.
Also, Mia, what is the general response among the Lebanese media to the deaths of those two journalists in Lebanon who were caught in the crossfire of Israel's operations to eliminate Hamas operatives?
Well, according to them, they were not caught in the crossfire. The reaction here from Lebanon is that they were targeted by the Israeli forces. 2 of the 9 people that were killed on Tuesday, 2 of them were these journalists from the Al Mayadeen television network, a pan-Arab television network, and the CEO of the network on the day that their reporters were killed said that this was a targeted attack, saying that the journalists were wearing their press identification, that their cars were identified as press as well, and that they were reporting from an area where it's usual for reporters to be at. So this just goes to these 2 journalists go to join another journalist, another of our colleague that was killed, Issam Abdallah. He was killed earlier in the beginning of this conflict, with Reporters Without Borders saying that he was killed in a targeted attack where he was identified, his car was identified, and he was next to another convoy of journalists. So, the reaction here in Lebanon is that these 2 new deaths of journalists are just another type of targeted attack by the Israeli forces.
We leave it there. Thank you very much. Mia Alberti joining us from Beirut with that update. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Ukraine's capital Kiev is rocked by the largest ever drone attack. Calm is restored to Dublin streets after 34 arrested for riots. And NASA warns of a perfect storm coming, expected to hit the Earth tomorrow. We'll also be discussing the growth of India's defense industry and its self-reliance. क्या दो
Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News Hour, and we are now joined by Mr. Anurag Bajpai, who is Joint Secretary in the Department of Defense Production in the Ministry of Defense, and we're going to talk about self-reliance in the defense production sector. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Now, Prime Minister describes the Tejas as a manifestation of the strength and skills of 140 crore Indians. So, I mean, for our international viewers, why is this such a national, achievement?
Today it's a very big day because the Prime Minister of India has himself flown on LCA Tejas, and a direct message to the industry, to our R&D experts, to our engineers, to our whosoever was involved in the production of LCA Tejas. A direct message that the country has trust on your capabilities. And that is the most important part of today's journey or travel by Honorable Prime Minister. Now the message to the world which you have asked about. Indian Air Force is now procuring Tejas because the focus is on our product, indigenized products. Because the geopolitical situation at present, we cannot depend on any country as such. Because if we have to protect our boundaries, if we have to protect our, various borders, we need our systems, our platforms, which have all the items or maximum items made in India.
Yes.
So that we can have the complete supply chain whenever there is a need. So that is the need. Now the message to the world that yes, India is capable. If you really want to come with India, please come here, make in India and make for the world.
Sure.
So that is the thing.
We can see that also with India's exports, defense exports have grown to 16,000 crores when figures were last available to us. But the question is, I mean, how competitive are Indian defense products, let's say, for the Indian Ocean region where India has a sphere of influence?
Here I would like to, give example of the exports only. There are 200 plus countries in the world, and India is exporting to 106 countries at present. When it comes to platforms, yes, there are African nations, there are IOR nations, there are countries in Southeast Asia. And now, the best example I would like to give, recently in month of June, if you see, US and India have come together for having the joint challenges with the startups. So US wants their startups and our startups to work together on deep technologies. Means the countries who are already having high-end technologies, they also believe in Indian brains, Indian technologies now, and they are trying to work together. Not only US, now the France, Sweden, Israel, all have shown the similar interest with India. And they want to come India, want to have joint ventures with Indian companies and develop products here.
Sure.
Both the things, because India has a big market, domestic market, as well as we have very good, policies for the export, to promote the exports. We also provide the marketing strategies to them so that commercially they are also, comfortable. They get all these opportunities here in India.
Okay. But to what extent is opening up the defense sector to private participation helped also to improve the edge of, our defense public sector undertakings in terms of collaborations with the private sector and PPP models, one can say? Has that helped improve the, overall product?
Actually, India, this defense sector was opened in 2001 for the private sector participation. Thereafter, if you see the growth, initially there was slow, but in last 6-7 years, there was tremendous growth and more than 200% jump was there in getting the defense licenses, manufacturing licenses in India. Why it happened? Because of the simplification of licensing procedure. So the policies also, and then the visibility to the industry that yes, their products, because defense is a monopsony.
Yes.
Government is the only buyer.
Only buyer, yes.
So
One
they
buyer,
need
many
market.
sellers,
They
yes.
need market for their project to become commercially viable. So the market, domestic market in India, plus export, plus a surety from the government, yes, your products will be procured. That is why in the capital procurement, if you see in the current year, 75% of the budget has been earmarked for the domestic procurement only. Okay. So it is a visibility. Then another action which has been taken in the policies, that positive indigenization lists which have been brought, where it has been said that after this year, a particular year, that product will not be imported. So the industry has got the visibility.
Right.
So, and this message has also gone to foreign OEMs. So they know that after this year, the imports will not be there. So they have to come here, and here they find the domestic market, conducive regime for domestic market as well as export market. So
Indeed.
It's a combined effect of all the policy measures which have been taken up.
Indeed. Mr. Bajpai, India has already achieved a high level of self-reliance in terms of, let's say, Navy as well as on for the armed forces, Army's requirements. But as far as the Air Force is concerned, I mean, how do Indian-designed UAVs, for instance, stealth, radars, etc., compare with those of our adversaries? And are we? Is this an area where we are looking at a lot of promise?
I'll start with the example of LCA only, which was flown today by the Honorable Prime Minister. At present, LCA is having 55% indigenous content, and in next 2-3 years, it is going to become 70%.
Okay.
If I take the number of items which are indigenous out of this, so out of about 350 items, 210 are already indigenous. The rest are being imported, but out of that 134 that is remaining, 88 are already under indigenization. So our pace is very fast. We are going to become self-reliant, particularly in manufacturing of this fighter aircraft. That is number one.
Yes.
Now you have raised the question of UAVs.
Yes.
Our startups have done tremendously well in developing the UAV technologies, drone technologies, including anti-drone technologies. This also includes weaponized drones. And many countries, not only the domestic forces, many other countries are looking for our products, particularly in case of UAV sector. And there are favorable policies at present for the manufacturing of UAVs or drones. And we are doing tremendously well, and many developed countries are looking for our technologies in this.
So one can see that there is organic growth taking place in the industry. But do you know how much interest is there amongst the younger generation of, let's say, engineers wanting to join DRDO, other defense sector manufacturers, to try and make careers and also to take India forward? I know that there are internships and apprenticeships that are taking place, but what is the quality coming out?
See, defense sector is always, it charms every youngster. And so there are two streams. One is DRDO, another is IDEX, that is for defense innovation. DRDO is already having many programs where startups are engaged, like Technology Development Fund, then DARE program is there. And they are also having many outreach programs. Through services, through their own efforts, they are trying to bring the startups into the system, and then they provide conducive platforms for their growth. Now coming to IDEX. IDEX has become a very big platform for the startups' growth. And at present, I would like to inform this gathering and the audience here that more than 300 technologies are under development through startups only within a period of 3 years. And out of them, Out of them, within period of 2 years of development, around 40 technologies have gone for the procurement process.
Yes.
And that too having a value of about 2,000 crores. So it is a signal to the startups that yes, if you work here, if you are having that intellect, if you are having that, you are ready to take that challenge to develop the deep technologies for our forces, for our defense system, you have the conducive platform here and the market as well.
Okay. Clearly there's plenty of opportunities for the next generation. Thank you very much, Mr. Anurag Bajpai. Thank you for spending your time with us and clarifying many of our, clearing many of our doubts as far as India's defense sector and self-reliance is concerned, and the Tejas aircraft. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, Ukraine's capital has suffered what officials have said was Russia's largest drone attack of the war on Saturday. It left 5 people wounded as the rumble of air defenses and explosions woke residents at sunrise. The attack began hitting different districts of Kiev in the early hours of Saturday. The air raid warning lasted 6 hours, and Saeed Absarul Hussain now reports.
Russia has renewed its strikes on Ukraine in a biggest drone attack since the war began. Kyiv was once again the target. At least 5 people were injured as the rumbles of air defenses and explosions woke residents at sunrise. The attack began hitting different districts of Kyiv in the early hours of Saturday.
The blow was very powerful. It even blown out the entrance door, the metallic one. We would have been buried by the doors, because the strength of the blow was immense. It takes a second for everything to get blown out, and the next moment everything flies towards you.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that over 70 Iranian-designed Shahed kamikaze drones were launched at Ukraine. Both the warring nations have pressed on with their military operations, striking each other's military targets. Russia claimed that its forces have repelled Ukrainian attacks in multiple directions, while Ukrainian armed forces continue their offensive operations and pushed back more than 60 Russian assaults in eastern Ukraine. Syed Afsarul Hassan reporting for DD India.
Calm was restored to the streets of central Dublin amid a heavy police presence after 34 people were arrested following rioting the previous night that was triggered by the stabbing of 3 young children in the street. Police were on alert for further violence after rioters smashed shop windows, set fire to police cars, buses and a tram, and also clashed with officers in and around the main thoroughfare of the O'Connell Street in the violence rarely seen in the Irish capital. So shoppers and tourists returned on Black Friday morning, passing officers guarding looted stores as burnt-out vehicles were removed. Police chased a few people from the street on Friday evening, and they also made some arrests, but the city was quiet by and large. The U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will attend a meeting of the NATO foreign ministers. This is happening next week. It's going to highlight the alliance's commitment to Ukraine in its war against Russia. Now, NATO is actively supporting Ukraine and Kiev, and of course, Kiev is hoping that one day it might join the military bloc. But NATO itself is not at war with Russia, and that situation, which the Western leaders say they want to avoid because Moscow's vast nuclear arsenal is a matter of concern. But in a statement, the State Department has also said that Blinken would emphasize the U.S.'s support for democracy and regional stability in the Western Balkans. NATO is examining a more permanent ramp-up of troop numbers in the region to keep tensions under control. The meeting will take place from November 27 to 29. It's happening in Brussels. NASA has warned that a powerful solar storm is expected to hit the Earth on Sunday. According to the space agency, the number of sunspots has increased by 10 times in the last 1 week. Sunspots are areas with strong magnetic fields. Hot matter called plasma interacts with the magnetic field, sending a burst of plasma away from the sun in the form of a flare. So these flares, what they do is they unleash a barrage of solar storms towards the Earth. The storms can trigger radio blackouts and can also endanger spacecraft orbiting the Earth. And that brings us to some weather-related news now. The world's largest iceberg is on the move. This is for the first time in more than 3 decades. At almost 4,000 square kilometers, the Antarctic iceberg, it's called A23A. It's roughly 3 times the size of New York City. As it gains steam, the colossal iceberg is likely to be launched into the Antarctic circumpolar current, and this will funnel it towards the Southern Ocean. A European Union report has said that 400,000 deaths in Europe in 2021 were related to 3 main air pollutants. Some could have been avoided if the pollutants had been reduced to WHO recommended levels. The European Environment Agency said that within the European Union, pollution was caused by these fine particulate matter, that's PM2.5, which affects people with heart diseases in particular, led to 253,000 deaths in 2023. Pollution from nitrogen dioxide, NO2, was most harmful to people with diabetes. It resulted in 52,000 deaths, and short-term ozone, O3, exposure led to 22,000 deaths. In Somalia, the number of people killed by floods, this is from heavy rains, has climbed now to 96. Like the rest of East and Horn of Africa, Somalia has been battered by relentless heavy rains that began in October, and they've been caused by the El Nino and the Indian Ocean dipole weather phenomena. So both are climate patterns that impact ocean surface temperatures, and they also cause above average rainfall. The flooding has been described as the worst in decades. It has displaced about 700,000 people. This is according to the United Nations. The intense rains have also unleashed widespread flooding across the country, triggering displacement and exacerbating an already existing humanitarian crisis caused by years of insurgency. Let's take a look at other stories making news from around the world. A series of spectacular aerial performances took to the skies, and that was put on by the aerobatic teams from China and abroad at the ongoing 2023 Aero Air Show in South China's Guangdong province. Also performing at the air show, the European Aerobatic Flyby Nights showcased the expertise of British and French pilots. A new round of cold wave will sweep across most parts north of the Yangtze River since Sunday, affecting large parts of the central and eastern regions of China. Under the influence of the cold wave, temperatures in most areas north of the Yangtze River will generally drop by 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. At least 11 people were dead and 22 injured in a fire at a mall in Karachi. The Karachi mayor confirmed the news and said that the fire had been extinguished and that the cooling process was in progress. As different Bolivian regions get engulfed in flames, an animal shelter emerged as a silver lining. Rescuers, they were patrolling the forest, searching for animals at risk or, being injured by these fires, and they bring them then to the animal shelter where they treat them until recovery. Well, still to come here on DD India News Hour. An update from the tunnel rescue operation site. We'll be going live to Uttarakhand. And also voting ends for the Rajasthan Assembly elections. The results will be declared on December 3. You're watching DD India News Hour. My name is Mark Lin. Here's a recap of our main stories. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi flies in the Tejas 4.5 generation fighter jet and he calls it a flight to remember. He says that the Tejas is India's pride. Scenes of emotional reunion bring tears to the eyes as freed Israeli hostages as well as prisoners hug their families. Israel says that 58 trucks carrying food, water, shelter equipment and medical supplies have been deployed to the northern Gaza. And despite new hurdles, authorities are working on all possible options to reach the workers trapped in the Himalayan tunnel in Uttarakhand. Well, moving on now, the rescue operation to prepare the escape route for those 41 workers who are trapped inside the Satwik-Chirag tunnel in India's Uttarakhand is underway. The rescuers working to bring, those 41 trapped workers out are now focusing on vertical drilling after the rescue operation was again halted after the auger machine had a technical snag.
Massive rescue operation is underway to evacuate the trapped workers in Uttarakhand in the Indian state of Uttarakhand. However, rescue operations once again faced hurdle after the auger machine broke down inside.
जहां रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस का सवाल आता है, कल से कुछ थोड़ी और ज्यादा अड़पड़ें आ गई हैं कि जो ऑगर जिसके ऊपर अभी तक पूरा दारोमदार था, जिस पे ज़्यादा फोकस था हमारा कि ये जो हॉरिजॉन्टल एक्सेस हम बना रहे थे सीलियासार की तरफ से, जो सिल्कियार की तरफ से जो हम कोशिश कर रहे थे अंदर जाने की, मलबे के अंदर 62 मीटर 63 मीटर, वो जो अप्रोच है उसके अंदर कुछ बाधाएं आ गई हैं अब.
There are only few meters of debris left between rescuers drilling in from Satwik-Chirag end and the trapped workers. But officials say it is difficult to anticipate when this last leg of the operation will be completed.
जैसे हम 47 मीटर तक पहुंच गए हैं, तो आगे वो 57 भी हो सकता है, 60 भी हो सकता है, तो समझ लीजिए कि हमें 12-13 या मतलब 12-15 मीटर के बीच में हमें आगे और जाना है, जिसे हम मैनुअली रास्ता तय करना है. हमें वो 10 भी हो सकता है, वो 12 भी हो सकता है, 14 भी हो सकता है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is taking stock of the rescue operation.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी प्रत्येक दिन हर प्रकार से मतलब कि कितनी वहाँ पर प्रोग्रेस हुई है, क्या परेशानी उसमें ऑपरेशन में आ रही है, अंदर सारे लोग सुरक्षित हैं, ठीक हैं, उनको भोजन पानी इत्यादि की सब व्यवस्था हो रही है और सभी प्रकार की चिंता कर रहे हैं.
The trapped workers are being provided food and medicines. Besides, video communication too has been established. The landline facility is being set up by BSNL at the tunnel to enable stranded workers to talk to their family members.
And our correspondent Dibyendu Mandal is now joining us from Uttarakhand, joining us live. Well, Dibyendu, first of all, tell us, what's the update on the alternatives after the auger machine has broken down?
Well, Mark, today there has not been much of a development here at the Satwik-Chirag tunnel site. Since morning, the work had stopped here. In fact, since last night itself, the auger machine failed and the work had stopped here. Today morning, there were high-level consultation happened between, in fact, amongst all the stakeholders here at the Satwik-Chirag tunnel. In fact, the Chief Minister, Pushkar Singh Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, was also present in the meeting. And it has been decided that the tunnel will be approached from all the sides, which includes the vertical drilling, the side drift drilling, as well as the micro boring from the Barcode site, which is about 40 kilometers from here. So all these alternative methods are being worked on, but however, no work has begun since last night because the authorities are prepping up to ensure that no further problem or disaster could happens because of multiple drillings from all the four sides of the tunnel. So everything is being studied very carefully. The geology of all the four sides of the tunnel is is being studied by experts who have come here from across different parts of the world. Today the Chief Minister has informed that a plasma cutting machine, which is a more advanced cutting machine that can cut through the debris, is being brought from Hyderabad. The Indian Air Force will be airlifting that machine to Dehradun's Jolly Grant Airport, from which after which the machine will be brought here at Uttarakhand. But however, the machine which was supposed to reach here by this evening has not come. But of course, the authorities say it's a huge machine and it will take some more time for the machine to come here, because from Dehradun to here it's about 180 kilometers, and the machine will take some more time to reach here. So we are expecting that the plasma cutting machine could perhaps reach here by tomorrow afternoon, after which a decision will be taken on how to go about with the plasma cutting machine. But also let me tell our viewers that despite this deployment of the plasma cutting machine, the 20 meters which is left, the approximate 20 meters which is left, will also require much of manual in fact digging of the debris to reach to the workers, because the authorities are taking no chance, because you know, this is in fact the fourth time that the auger machine failed.
Right, Dibyendu, also since you've given us a total 360-degree view of what's likely to happen, tell us about the health of the workers currently. I mean, we know that they're getting food and all that, but what's the latest communication from them?
Well, the workers here seem to be pretty much healthy inside, because that's what the doctors here who are looking after them, as well as the counselors who are looking after, in fact, counseling them, have been telling us that they are doing well inside. But however, having said this, this is the 14th day that the workers are trapped inside. But despite that, the doctors here are trying their best efforts to ensure that their morale and spirits remain high, because we were speaking to some of the family members who had also spoken off the record. So they were expecting that the workers would be out maybe yesterday night or today morning, but when that did not happen and the news about the auger breaking down, they had somewhat became disheartened. The family members, in fact, had become disheartened, because they thought that they could reunite with their loved ones soon. But however, having said this, the workers are being looked after very well. They are being provided with warm clothes, food, water, electricity, and also a telecommunication line is trying to be set up here where they could communicate with their family members from inside the tunnel.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for those updates. Dibyendu Mandal reporting from Uttarakhand. Our next story, the Indian state of Rajasthan, it went to assembly polls on Saturday, and 5 p.m. was when the voting ended, and 68.24% of the voter turnout was recorded at that time. Officials said that voting was by and large peaceful across the state. The counting of votes is going to take place on December 3rd. According to the Election Commission, Bhagidora recorded a voter turnout of 78.21%, and the capital city of Jaipur had recorded 69.22%. Jaisalmer had recorded 76.57%. Ganganagar had recorded a voter turnout of 72.09%. Important cities within Rajasthan. Campaigning is also underway in the southern Indian state of Telangana for the assembly elections. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, addressed a massive rally in Kamareddy, and the Prime Minister said that Telangana is set to bless the BJP in record numbers. The people connect with a development agenda, is what the Prime Minister said, and the state now will go to the polls on the 30th of this month. The results are going to be declared along with the other states that have gone to the polls on the 3rd of December. Prime Minister also said that the people of Telangana are fed up with the 9-year rule of the BRS government, and they want freedom from it. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman addressed the Kerala Kaumudi Enclave, which is a program on emergence of India as an economic powerhouse and opportunities for Kerala. So the Finance Minister said that India's technology adaptation and readiness is above 80%. which is much above the global average. The minister also said that India is the second largest market for e-learning, and the market size of $6 billion will grow to $10 billion in 2 years' time.
I would certainly look at the figures and say if globally there is about 60-62% technology adaptation readiness, India's technology adaptation readiness is 80 and above. So that itself tells you it is not the perception which is seen about India outside, which is playing out in India. The perception you get outside, partly probably right, is because India still got miles to go before your population is going to be covered with basic amenities, literacy levels, and so on.
Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra was organized in Makkansar village of Morbi Tehsil. This is in the Indian state of Gujarat. And the beneficiaries of the Makkansar village, they expressed gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for making the government schemes available at their doorsteps. It's noteworthy to note that, the Bharat Sankalp Yatra, it was started on November 23. It's going to travel till January 26. And it's going to cover 362 villages of the Morbi Tehsil. Sankalp Yatra is, in fact, making India's country, the countrymen, aware about the many schemes and benefits for villagers. Let's take a look now at other stories making the news. A Delhi court sentenced 4 men to life imprisonment in the murder case of the Indian journalist Soumya Vishwanathan. More than 15 years ago, she was killed in 2008. And the 5th convict, Ajay Sethi, was sentenced to simple imprisonment for a period of 3 years. India has appointed a 2001 batch Indian Foreign Service officer, Robert Shetkintong, as the High Commissioner of India to the Republic of Mozambique. He is currently serving as the Ambassador of India to Ethiopia since 2020. He is expected to take up his assignment shortly. In a spectacular passing out parade held at the Indian Navy Academy in Elimala, which saw 158 trainees passing out. They did so with flying colors, marking the culmination of their initial training. So what's happened is that the parade was reviewed by the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Hari Kumar, and the passing out trainees, they included 8 foreign cadets and 5 from 5 countries that are friendly to India, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Myanmar, and the first international woman trainee also from Mauritius. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get you updates on the ongoing International Film Festival of India in Goa. And Surya Kumar Yadav-led Indian T20 team is going to take on Australia in the second T20 International at Thiruvananthapuram. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lin. An IIT Guwahati-based startup has made a unique effort. They're installing solar plants on water. This is not only saving land, but it also uses it's used for other purposes. It helps in energy production with better efficiency.
Solar panels to generate solar energy are generally installed on land or on building rooftops. But an IIT Guwahati-based startup made a unique effort to install the solar plants on water. A startup named Quent Solar has developed the technology of installing floating solar plants. Along with clean energy production, the advantage of this technology is that it saves land, which can be used for other purposes.
Floating solar projects are fast emerging as third pillar of solar installation across the globe after ground-mounted and rooftop. And the reason being that floating solar offers a lot of inherent benefits which other mode of installation does not offer. Among these benefits, the most crucial one is about saving land, because we can use the unutilized water surface of reservoirs, dams, lakes, and that helps in saving the land for better utility.
Floating solar plants can be installed over dams and reservoirs. Due to the cooling effect of water, energy can be produced with better efficiency.
The benefit of floating solar project is about saving water by containing evaporation. I will explain how it happens. When we install the floating solar projects on water bodies like say reservoirs or freshwater lakes, then the area available for the evaporation is reduced. So it helps in containing the evaporation by almost 70% as the data suggest, and that helps a lot in saving the precious fresh water.
Such installation of solar plants on large number of reservoirs, dams, lakes and ponds will help in meeting the increasing energy requirements. They will also help in achieving the goals of environmental protection and sustainable energy. Nishant Saurabh reporting for DD India.
Day 6 of the 54th International Film Festival of India commenced with a series of engaging film screenings and events. The festival, which celebrates the best of Indian and international cinema, has been a platform for filmmakers, actors and industry professionals to showcase their talent and connect with like-minded individuals.
After concluding 75 Creative Minds of Tomorrow 48-hour filmmaking challenge, a talent camp was organized for the fresh talented minds. Representatives of the top companies from India's media and entertainment sector were present to provide the 75 Creative Minds of Tomorrow an opportunity to connect, network and pitch their profiles to them. Companies including Roy Kapoor Films, Saregama, Yodlee Films, Amazon Prime Video and Pocket Aces were the ones to hire the creative minds.
This is an initiative of our Honorable Minister to make sure that this 75 creative minds, after gaining so much of experiences and exposures, are given an opportunity to work with some of the biggest media and entertainment houses in the country.
We have a lot of talent in this country, those who are established, of course, whom we work with at Prime Video. But I think it's the initiative with us is to create our own talent in the sense of like finding the people who have these great minds and great stories to tell and, you know, honing it, helping them.
We have an opportunity which combines to showcase our work as well as, you know, get hired from one of the top companies in India. I think it's a very good initiative.
It's a great opportunity because being an actor, I'm an actor, so it's a lot of competition is there, and to connect with these production houses, these big companies, it's really difficult. So this platform is really great.
One of the highlights of the day was a screening of the film The Exorcist in Restored Classic section. Other screening included Citizen Saint in the ICFT and Latido in Cinema of the World section. The youngest filmmaker in the film festival, Prathamesh Mahale, also showcased his movie Pradakshina in the Indian Panorama section.
Actually, it's a very great platform for independent filmmaker like me. Like we don't get much audience for our film, and this IFI and ministry, what they are doing, it's like very helpful. And it's like motivating also.
In addition to film screenings, the festival also hosted press interaction with Gulmohar movie and Sirf Ek Banda Kafi Hai team. Gulmohar, a Hindi film written and directed by Rahul V. Chitela, was featured in the Indian Panorama category. The film explores the meaning of family and home, interweaving individual storylines of various members of the Batra family.
The real home, what it does, when you go back from a hard day's work, of a long struggle on that day, that real home gives you that solace. It encourages you, it pats you, it caresses you.
Several discussions and interactive sessions on raising finance, bringing creative visions to life and passion of storytelling young filmmakers were also held. With an impressive lineup of screenings, masterclasses and discussions, the festival remains a significant event in the global cinema calendar, bringing together film enthusiasts from all over the world.
The candidates of 75 Creative Minds of Tomorrow have employment opportunities with them. The movie lovers, cinema goers are also enjoying thoroughly. With this, Day 6 concludes, and as the festival progresses, it is bringing together global cinema, Indian cinema and everything together under one roof. Shama Mishra, DD India, Goa.
The Indian President Draupadi Murmu and the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar attended the President Polo Cup. It's held at the President Bodyguard Polo Ground of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. In the match, the cavalry team defeated the President's Bodyguard team by 6-7. After the match, President Murmu awarded the cup to the winning team. Well, continuing with the sports news, here's badminton. India's top men's doubles pair of Satwik-Chirag Ranki-Reddy and Chirag Shetty, they've entered the finals of the China Masters after they defeated the home favourites He Ji-ting and Ren Xiang-yu. They won 26-16, 22-20 in the semi-finals in Shenzhen, happening Saturday. They will also now play the fourth final on Badminton World Federation World Tours this year. And they previously had won all the three earlier finals. So let's look forward on Sunday to a better win for them once again. They were victorious at the Swiss Open 2023, Indonesian Open 2023, as well as the Korea Open 2023. And the Satwik-Chirag pair, they're going to face the winner of the second semi-final that's going to be played. And they will be playing the final on Sunday, as I said. India is going to be facing Australia in the second T20 International in Thiruvananthapuram. It's happening Sunday. India are already up 1-0 in the 5-match series. They look to continue their winning momentum. Australia are likely to bring back their World Cup hero Travis Head as well as Glenn Maxwell into the playing 11. The third match of the T20 series will be held in the northeastern city of Guwahati. That's happening on Tuesday, November 28. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.